Okay. Side note. I know. Okay, so real quick before I jump into what I want to talk on, just real short. As you guys who were here last week, you know that our theme this year is Mythbusters. Now, Mythbusters, can someone tell me what I mean by Mythbusters for this year? Myths. Myths. Okay. Truth. Those are two good words. I'll give you a 50%.
Ouch.
50, well, no, like 50% on the exam.
That's not it.
Anyone else? No? Alright. Well, I hope you guys were listening, but Mythbusters this year, we're going to look at a lot of myths, a lot of falsehoods that the world speak on today. That's why I said I gave you 50%. I didn't say I was going to give you 100, though. It was better than 0%. Yeah. But, alright. So, in essence, today, in today's day and age, the world says there's no absolute truth. The world says, truth is all relevant and everything. And so we're going to look at a lot of things that the world says. And basically, when we're here, all we're going to be doing is we're going to be speaking truth into your guys' lives. Alright? So, yesterday, last week, on Tuesday night for kickoff, we took a quick glance in 2 Peter, and we talked a little bit on the scriptures and how historically accurate they are. And we talked about how the Bible is written from eyewitness perspectives and how they're primary sources versus secondary sources. Took a real historian outlook on it, real quick. And we're going to be looking at that even more so next week. Corey will be speaking to you guys next week, so get excited. And he's going to be doing a great job with that. So he's going to be taking that in a much more detailed look than I talked on last. First thing, and what you're going to see up here, alright, and this is for you guys, for not only this time, but also for a time in about 5-10 minutes here, when you guys are going to break out into some smaller groups with some of the leaders, and you guys are going to take a closer look and be able to respond individually to some of these questions that are up here, okay? So leaders, the questions that are up here is for guidance for you guys, but as I always say, take it where you want to take it. So, alright, so the first one is, and again, a myth. A lot of people say when they're going out, questions that you always hear being asked, is there a God? Right? Well, I want to say, if you ask most people in this country alone, you're going to have at least 75% of the people claim that, yeah, there's a God, and yeah, I believe in a God. So, what I'm saying is that is not a question that we're actually wanting to look at, because already facts say, yeah, there's a God. But what I want to know is, who is God that we're actually seeking? Which God shall we seek? And why must we think rightly about God? Okay? And the first thing I want to say is, this sort of leads into the first myth that people say, a lie about God. And people say, God is whatever we want him to be. Alright? Let me repeat that. God is whatever we want him to be. That's false. I hope you guys believe that, and I hope you guys follow me as I talk on that. Alright? Does anyone know who A.W. Tozer is? A.W. Tozer. One person in the house. Don't worry, I didn't expect you guys to know who he is. A.W. Tozer is this really old guy who wrote a book called The Knowledge of the Holy that if you become a Wheatonite, as I am, you read about them. Now, when I say Wheatonite, that means I went to Wheaton College. For those kids, it's a Chris Pratt school. You should go. It's awesome. But, there's my plug for Wheaton College. Go Thunder, ah boom. Okay, but what I'm trying to say is, he made this comment, and it's one of the first comments he makes in this book, and I think it's inspiring. And he says, the most important thing about us is what comes into our minds when we think about God. Alright? Think about that. What do we think about when we think of God? Going back to these questions, why must we think rightly about God? Well, he goes on to say, it's because what we think about God is what we're going to believe about God. Alright? So, why are there all these different idols, and why do so many people today don't actually believe in what the Bible says our God is? Well, there are many reasons that people say, and the first reason I want to talk about is that God seems distant and uninvolved in our lives today. How many of us at one point in our life feel like God was distant? I know I have. Okay? Looking at the Old Testament, the story of Moses and Aaron and the golden calf. I don't know if you guys know it, but real quick. In short, Moses went up into the mountain of God, and he was gone for days and days. And the people, the Israelites, they were getting restless. And they're like, where's Moses? We don't have him. God is so distant. What should we do? They pleaded to Aaron, who was Moses' brother, and said, hey, Aaron, please do something for us. We want to make something so that we feel like God is closer to us. So what they did was they brought all their gold, and Aaron melted it down, and he made a golden calf, an idol. Right? And they did that because at that time God seemed distant and uninvolved.